Hey there everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Giddy Hemphill, the Mountain Mystic, and I'm so happy to have you with me here in today's conversation, coming to you from the trails. I decided to take it out here today after yesterday's snowstorm to be with you out in my backyard forest to bring myself and of course you to whatever degree you are able through this goofy technology that we now have to have today's conversation. And this one I've really been holding space for a while for how I most want to speak to it's funny because I'm fired up about it, like so fired up about this, but the thing itself is actually the opposite of fire. It's actually much more of a grounding, earthy, almost even if you can feel into like a watery energy, this grounding, watery energy. And it's funny, I speak to this and I'm realizing yesterday was the Cancer full moon, and this groundy, earthy, watery energy really encapsulating Cancer. So maybe that's why this conversation is so loud for me today. But to get into, right, because I don't really just want to come out and say it. I don't think that's the most skillful way to get into where I want to speak to you today about. I think that the door I want to take in is this experience that I know we all know is, this way we're all programmed to be in the world. This very fast moving and kind of fiery, intense energy. So I think about the opposite of Cancer in the zodiac is Sagittarius, which is where I am over here. Not opposite in the ways that people often speak to it, but opposite in like Sagittarius being this fire arrow, like being shot through the air. And I love to speak about Sagittarius because, as I've spoken to in the past, I'm not only a Sagittarius, but a 7x Sagittarius. Like my whole chart points to Sagittarius. So I know, because I had lived my whole life in this way, his fire arrow shooting through the ethers. Like I have to get to somewhere. There is somewhere so important for me to be. And it's not right here, but it's somewhere up ahead, right? It's that arrow, it's that vector, it's that moving forward, that reaching, that grasping, like trying to get to something. And it's an important energy. I love it. I love being a Sagittarius, right? I am the mountain mystic over here. Like yesterday, hiking up snowy mountainsides, like there was somewhere to get to so I could ski back down, right? It's an important energy. But when we live our lives in that place, right? That place of always needing to get somewhere, it's like this. And I invite you to feel into this, right? And I know we all know this feeling of like, I just have to get there. I have to get to the next thing. It's like the next thing and the next thing. And that's the only place my focus goes, right? Where is my focus? It's on the next thing. And feel how that feels in your body. For me, I kind of feel it in my chest right now. Like it's kind of this like, it's almost this like emptiness in my chest as I'm like lurching forward to something. And I feel that emptiness because it's like, oh, I'm not grounded here. I'm not present here. And so I lived this way for forever, right? And I'm a 7x Sagittarius. Everything in my chart is this fire arrow, just racing forward, pushing forward, moving to the next thing. And then, after a couple decades of that, really starting to notice, oh, how do I feel? Like, how do I feel now, right? Well, if I'm never here, present in this moment, present to what's here, receiving what's here, but I'm always in the future, I'm always racing to a future moment, right? And feeling into self, feeling into your own self. Like, how does that feel in your body? For me, and feeling like an emptiness, like I can never feel full of life, right? There was never that fulfillment, right? Fulfillment. We all want fulfillment. We all want to be fulfilled. We all want to feel full. Well, to feel full, we have to be present in the here and now. So let's flip back to the idea of this Cancer sign in the zodiac, right? So we've been over in this like fire arrow, racing through the ethers, always reaching forward, always looking forward. Now kind of feeling into the opposite. Maybe you like lean back a little bit. Feel your feet on the floor, your seat in the chair. I've got literally a rock beneath my seat. So I'm like, feeling my sits bones down on this rock. Feeling into the ground beneath me, breathing into my body. And leaning back a little bit into, oh, I'm here. I am here. And what is here in this moment to be felt? Got some shades so I can take off my sunglasses and maybe you guys can actually see my eyes. Feeling into that. Right, connecting into this moment. Breathing into self. What is here in this moment to feel? What is here in this moment to feel, to sense, to know? So again, at the time I'm recording this, yesterday was the Cancer full moon, and whether you're, watching this around this time, it doesn't matter. You can always tune into this energy, but for me, like feeling, the energy is alive for days around the full moon, right? The full moon really being this like potent force of light, right? The full moon like beaming the sun back at us, this like pointed focus, taking in this Cancer energy, the zodiac Cancer sign, which is, the crab. You can feel into the crab is this ocean being, right? It's water, but it's depths. It's the depths of the ocean, right? The crab walks along the bottom of the ocean. It is connected to the ground. It isn't up swimming through the ocean, right? This isn't like a pure watery sign. It's that grounded water. So feeling into that grounding, that watery, receptive, earthy grounding. And I'm just going to keep saying it in different ways to kind of help it land in different ways, inviting you to feel into that, right? So here this is just play, right? We get to play with this. We get to be creative with this. We don't have to take it all like super seriously and be like, wait, exactly what is the, bullet points that describes Cancer and the energy around it. Like, we can get super structured and like argue over what exactly it means. But for me, like whenever I work with the zodiac or astrology, it's about embodiment. It's about like, how does it feel in you? And it's about, everything I do is really about connecting you to nature, your own nature, nature herself. So this practice, right? I'm just like looking, past the camera and in the camera and on the screen, and I can just see like all this snow on this ground, right? Again, this watery, earthy grounding, right? So maybe that's a fun doorway in this like ground that's receiving that's holding these waters, right? Waters being this receptive nature, the earth being this grounding, this vessel. So it's this like holding, right? This vessel that is holding what is here to be received. So feeling into that, maybe the snow being held by the earth behind me helps you get there. Maybe feeling into that ocean, right? That crab helps you get there. Maybe you can just feel into self and find that. But so to whatever degree, you're able to tune into this, Cancer energy, this earthy waters, right? This vessel that's holding these waters, right? Waters being this receptive nature of life. So at this point, we've kind of set the foundation for how I want to get into this conversation. And what I really want to point to today, so I told you, I didn't just want to get right to the heart of the thing. I wanted to kind of lay a foundation for us, like a doorway that we can enter to get to this conversation, right? In this world, I spoke to this with the Sagittarius energy, this world that we live in that has us just racing forward, right? We're always reaching forward. And I know for me, given the school system and the career I was in, there was always this push to like get more done, be more efficient. And I remember, being a student, graduating college, and going out into the real world and just being so proud of myself that like I was so efficient. Like I got the number of classes I packed into my schedule in school, on top of being an athlete, on top of, picking up yoga and meditation, and I could just cram so much into my day. It's like, talk about being able to race forward in life, like learning so much all the time, literally running out through the desert. I lived in Phoenix at the time, like always racing forward. And I was so proud of myself, because I was so efficient. But then going back to this feeling, right? Going back to this feeling of like actually sensing into my reality. How did I feel? Well, I felt accomplished, like mentally. I could be like, oh yeah, I did this today and this today and this today and this today. Like I feel accomplished. But like feeling, right? Feeling into self. Did I feel fulfilled? Did I feel like I was taking steps in a meaningful direction? And I didn't. And because of that, I started asking questions, which led to another question, which led to another question, which led me here today, teaching embodiment and teaching what I'm teaching you today, which is, yes, sometimes it's awesome to be able to race forward and check off all the to-dos and, be focused forward, right? Moving forward. We have direction. Again, that Sagittarius fire arrow moving through the ethers. And what I now believe to be more important than anything is, can we stay grounded? Can we be present in the here and now? Can we receive what is here to be received? Again, feeling into that grounded, watery energy, right? Again, I see that vessel, that like earthy vessel holding the waters, and that being life, right? Earth, we live here as human beings, these earthly beings, and water, life, being the flow of life, right? Sometimes we speak to that as like Shakti, or the flow of life. And can we be present in that, attuned to that? And as we are, right, when we're in that flow, that's when we get to feel fulfilled. That's when we get to feel good. And not feeling good as in like some mental dopamine hit that, it's like a deeper, it's like I feel good because I'm satisfied, because life is fulfilling, because I'm taking steps in alignment with where I need to go. Taking a deep breath there. You guys are finally about to get to the point that I'm most interested in getting at today, which is, there's this conversation that I'm hearing all over the internet right now. And what it has to do with is, we can speak these words like we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And, if you're into that, maybe that sparks something in you. If not, don't worry about it. But at the same time, and this is what's most important, is like we're living in a time where it's like time is speeding up, like life is speeding up, like things are happening quicker, things are moving faster. And it's just happening. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. It's just, like the fabric of reality, how reality itself is moving and how we're perceiving it. it's like life is speeding up, like time is going faster, or else like more is happening. You know, maybe something like, you know, some time ago it would have, you know, taken years for something to unfold. Now it's like happening in, you know, minutes, you know, just as an example, to throw some random units at you to kind of help your mind understand that it's just like things are happening faster. And the way that I'm hearing people respond to this is, well, if time is moving faster, if things are happening quicker, that means you yourself need to move faster. So again, it's this fire arrow like racing through the ethers. Well, we're already here, like life is moving so fast, and now you have to move faster. You have to move faster. It's time to move faster and faster. And I don't know how that feels in your body, but for me, I am in full aversion to it. Like, I hear that, oh my gosh, life is already moving so fast. We have to be moving so fast. And now you're telling me to move even faster. Oh my gosh, I don't believe that that is necessarily the best path forward. And this is what I'm going to offer to you to feel into. That is exactly what I've been teaching you all along, and what I'm practicing over here, and what I really, you know, I'm gonna double down and speak to, like, if we're living in a world that things are happening faster and faster, like, what's the correct response? What's the most skillful response? Is it best for us each to move faster and faster, so it's like we keep up? Or feel into this. Is it more important? Is it more skillful to actually kind of do the opposite? And feeling into what we've been speaking to in this video as this Cancer energy, this grounding, these receptive waters. And I feel that is kind of like a leaning back into, a grounding into. And feel this, and you can kind of start by tuning into how life today already feels. And I've done a lot of work to disconnect from this, but I'm still in it. This always racing forward. I have to be here and then there and then there and then there. And I'm just living in the future, right? Because I have to get to the next thing because there's so much to do. And then feeling into, okay, now there's more to do because time is moving faster and things are happening faster. So now I have to move faster to catch up to that. So feeling into the self, feeling into that energy. And then feeling into, okay, life is moving fast. Things are already moving so fast. Things are happening so fast. And now things are going to just naturally happen. Again, you don't have to do anything about it. But things are just going to kind of pick up. Life is going to change more often with more intensity. Or else things are going to manifest in your life with greater intensity, with greater force. And here now, this is a big moment. Can we adapt to that by ourselves slowing down, by grounding into life? Maybe breathing a little deeper, breathing a little fuller, and be open to receiving. And that certainly doesn't mean that we're not in action, right? We're still moving through life, but we're learning to move through life at a pace that aligns, right? Moving forward at a pace that aligns with the flow of life. That's really what, that's the heart of what we're doing here. It's the heart of kind of all the teachings I teach, is this, how you move through life in alignment. And so much of that is your pace, right? And sometimes there is time to race forward through life, right? I'm out here in the forest going on a run. I'm about to drop down into this canyon, run around in the canyon, and there's going to be times where I am running forward because I get whatever cue. Internally, I feel a surge of energy, right? It's snowy out here, so maybe I find a nice flat section of trail and I can kind of take in those external cues and I'm like, yeah, it's time to run. And then as I'm running, there's going to be the cues. Maybe it's because of something in my lungs or some internal sensation that tells me like, okay, it's time to slow down. Or maybe a beautiful view catches me. Or maybe, things get rocky or icy or slick. And I take that cue and it's time to slow down my pace. Stop, pause entirely. Okay, so I love these metaphors, a hike up a mountain, a run up a mountain, or through the forest, right? And how, life, it's all the same thing. Like we're moving through life taking these cues. Sometimes we speed up, sometimes we slow down. But all the while we are listening. We are listening. We are listening through our senses, right? Our internal senses, our external senses. We're listening for those cues. When is it time to speed up? When is it time to slow down? All the while, we are moving in alignment. We are staying in alignment. So as we're doing this, we're moving through life in alignment because we're listening. We're listening out there. We're looking around. We're using our eyes, our ears, our nose. We're listening. And we're listening within, we're feeling, we're sensing, we're tuned into our emotions, our thoughts, all those internal cues. So we're in the listening, and as we're in the listening, we're changing, we're adapting our behavior. It's time to speed up, it's time to slow down, it's time to get more focused, or it's time to expand our consciousness. All these different ways I talk about playing in this experience that is the human experience, that is your life, you get to live. So bringing us back to, living in a world where, as people are saying, based on the astrology and just, direct experience of life, that we're living in a world where things are speeding up, where things are just going to happen quicker. You yourself are going to change and it's going to happen faster. The world around you it's going to change, it's going to happen faster, and we have to be able to adapt. And does that mean our pace has to speed up to meet it? I don't know, maybe there's some moments where it does. But what I'm sensing into is the greatest adaptation for you to be making right now is actually a slowing down, becoming more grounded, becoming more open, more receptive. Because if things are just happening, right? They're just happening. It's automatically happening. You are going to need to be able to adapt faster. But to adapt faster, that doesn't mean you move faster. In a way, that often means you actually move slower. You take those deeper, more grounded breaths. Maybe there's a little bit more space between each breath. You take more pauses to soak in what is here. I'm going to say that one more time. As I'm off running through the forest, it means more pauses to soak in what is here. Because things are changing and we're going to have to be receptive to that. We're going to have to be in tune with that. That doesn't mean racing to catch up by adding more to our day. It means those slower, deeper breaths, turning inward, being present, what is here and now. So turning inward, what is present here and now. And I'm going to do this with my backyard snowy forest here in this canyon, inviting you to do this in your environment, in your body. What is present here and now as you take some deeper breaths, letting your lungs, your abdomen fill with breath, feeling into your seat, your feet below you if you're standing. Being present with what is here, what is now. Getting in that practice more often, learning to breathe deeper, learning to slow your pace, right? Learning to slow your pace. Oh my gosh, what a big deal that is in a world that's programmed to be ever racing forward. What a task it is to learn to slow down and feel. If you find challenges around that, I hear you. I've devoted my whole life to helping you to do this because as someone, the 7X Sagittarius over here who experienced such disastrous consequences from ever racing forward, never learning to pause, to feel, to sense into what is here. I know I suffered so much and I don't want you to experience the same thing. So I'm over here really devoting my life to giving you the resources, right? The practices, the teachings, how to do this. There's so many ways to do it. I have a brand new ebook out. In that ebook, I have kind of spoken to my whole philosophy, a practice-focused philosophy. And there's like 10 plus practices where I'm helping you to get into your body. Each of us are so different. So the embodiment practices, right? So the meditation style or the breath work that you do, or, the yoga that you do, kind of like movement focused embodiment work. Like what is going to work for you, align for you, feel good and grounding and nurturing and healing for you. That's going to look different from other people. So what I have for you is a book and programs around it that aren't like, here's a structured program for you to follow that guarantees results, because I'm thinking that we're all like cookie cutter humans that are all the same. Like, no, we're all different. And what works for you is going to be a little bit different, or maybe a lot different than what works for me. So there's an art and a skill and a practice that goes into walking your embodiment path. Right? Becoming present with self, becoming grounded, centered, focused, having that mental clarity that you need to move forward. All the while receiving what is here to be received. Receiving what is here to be received as you walk through life. Being open to receiving the gifts of life. I'm going to leave us there. Have that ebook. I'll link it down in the notes. There's other programs. Go check out my website. There's so much out there for you. I just recorded another guided meditation on Substack today. I'm just throwing resources your way these days. Find me, here on YouTube. Of course, this is where you are, so make sure you're subscribed. You can find me on Substack, or that's where I'm writing, but also recording guided meditations. I have more, structured programs online. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm going to continue my run. It's going to be a beautiful one. Thanks for hanging out with me today.